call the meeting to order at 6:07. Start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so the minutes have been distributed, and as long as you had a chance to read them, are there any corrections? Okay, can I get a motion to adopt the minutes from April 16th?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We'll have to do it at...
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye. And I'm an aye as well. Supervisor's comments. All right. The county executive, during his briefing today, stated that the county is going to, or already received, or didn't receive 29% less in tax receipts from last year. So they're 29% down from in the first quarter of last year, and that's only with a partial shutdown. So the next quarter they're anticipating should be even less than that, or more than that, less tax revenue. And according to the county executive, if the county doesn't get help, then it's from the federal government, it's going to be very bad after June. He didn't explain what very bad meant, but that can't be good for the rest of the residents. Now, in saying that, the town has, we've been cutting back since the shutdown, since early part of March. Once we saw that this was going to hit the town, I've been going to the town departments, and we've been looking with the highway superintendent, with the engineer, everybody in the town, and we've been looking for ways to have savings, and we've been very frugal with what we're spending. We still have to spend money, but any place that we can save, we're looking to save. And right now, I'm looking at over $100,000. I'm estimating that we've been able to save so far. Employees are back to work, but we only have 50% of the non-essential workers here, which is, and the other 50%, they're working, but they're working from home, and we have no control over that. That's a directive from the governor, and that's going to go through at least until March 15th.
May 15th.
I'm sorry, May 15th, thank you. We're still having discussions about the park. We had a conference call today with all the town supervisors throughout the county, and we were talking about parks as far as playgrounds, tennis courts, basketball courts, fields, and pavilions, and the challenges that we will have if they were to be open. And right now we're waiting for guidance from the CDC and the Department of Health before any decisions are made countywide. In fact, the association is looking to get the county executive get on a conference call next week to discuss with him what the Department of Health and the CDC guidelines are going to be as far as with the county, and we'll probably follow suit with that. Right now, most towns are leaning, and most towns and villages are leaning towards not opening up the parks because there's just a lot of problems, and there's really nobody has any good information on how that we would be able to keep people safe. And earlier in our work session, we had some discussions about that. We haven't made any definitive decisions as far as the parks, but we're going to try and open up as much of the park as we can. The park is still open, but obviously the pavilions, the tennis courts, the basketball courts, the playgrounds, they're still closed, and they're going to be closed until further notice. None of the fields, the soccer fields, the baseball fields, they shouldn't be utilized right now until we get the okay from the county executive and the state as far as what we're going to be doing with that. Okay, that's all I have. Comments from the counselors? Mr. Kudaraskis?
I just hope everyone's staying safe during this new norm and practice social distancing.
I would like to take this opportunity to wish all mothers, grandmothers, stepmothers, aunts, anyone in the capacity of a mother, wish them a happy Mother's Day Sunday.
I got a note to pick my wife up a card. I got it on my key, so don't forget it.
I'll try to remind you.
Wouldn't be good.
You just did.
Yes, I did. You're
Wouldn't be
right.
good.
I'd like to stick to the agenda tonight and thank everyone that's watching on PAC-B.
Mr. Rivazigno?
We just want to make a clarification based on what we discussed at the work session. When we say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the park, the Lysander Town Park, the trail is currently open. So if you want to walk your dog, go for a walk or a hike or a run, you can use that. What is not open, and unfortunately has to stay that way until further notice, are any of the facilities. So unless I'm incorrect on that, I didn't want to give people the impression the park itself was closed, because it's not. And the good thing about this, at least from what I'm seeing from the county, is all the county parks are open within certain guidelines of social distancing. And I think this is important because fresh air, vitamin D, getting out of the house, emotionally, psychologically, whatever, is so important as we go through this. So I'm hopeful that more things can open up, but for at least now you can use your trails and get out there and enjoy the sunshine that comes out occasionally. That's all I got.
Okay. Have anything, Mr. Yeager?
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll move on to the regular agenda items. May I get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the intermunicipal wastewater agreement between the county of Onondaga and the town of Lysander. This is a 3-year agreement.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All
Are
in
you
favor?
sure? One
Oops, I'm
second, are
sorry.
you sure that's a 3-year agreement?
That's what it has on my,
I thought the agreement was from,
let me see, I got it right here.
I thought the agreement was from December.
Yeah, I think it's a
2020.
1 year.
It's only 1 year.
This is an annual.
Oh, this is annual, okay. Then we'll just
We
sign
only got
the,
half a year left on it,
yeah,
basically.
I'm glad you noticed that.
Sorry, that was my fault. I looked at the payment due date on it. That's
Okay.
why it said
So we'll just,
20.
read, just sign the wastewater agreement between the county of Onondaga and the town of Lysander. It does reflect that on the agreement, the 1 year.
Yep.
Thanks, Tony.
Okay, so, all right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm an aye as well. May I get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the municipal cooperative agreement for the Lysander Public Safety Council of Departments Education Services, acronym codes. This agreement must be renewed every 5 years.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye as well. Motion carried. May I get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the intermunicipal cooperative agreement between the towns of Lysander and the village of Baldwinsville?
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion. All right, this agreement is an agreement between the towns and the villages that we have to have according to highway law. It allows the highway superintendent to let the village borrow equipment and us borrow equipment from them, and it just conforms to highway law. So, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm an aye as well. Motion carried. May I get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement regarding shared services of code enforcement officers between the towns of Lysander, Van Buren, and the village of Baldwinsville. This is a 1-year agreement.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion? right? What this is it allows the town of Van Buren, the town of Lysander, and the village of Baldwinsville to share code enforcement officers should they need to do that, in case one of their code enforcement officers became ill or wasn't able to perform their duties. They could contract with either municipality with this agreement, and it lays out what the criteria is for that. So, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye. Motion carried. May I get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the resolution authorizing settlement regarding the Sedgwick properties proceeding?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Who wants to explain this? Brief explanation.
This is just a basic settlement, settling tax grievances that were filed since 2008, I
8?
think.
Yeah, 2000.
Several years by the Sedgwick properties. The town, the school district and the town were sued. The town was represented by the school district attorney because of a conflict and has done so for the last several years. This resolution resolves all of those years' grievances, and it results in the town paying a refund of about $7,000, and the school district paying a refund of, I believe, about $72,000.
Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to be clear on that, Tony. I have the resolution in front of me, which was written by you or?
Brody Smith.
Brody
not
Smith.
Chuck King.
And does it say in there that this is the final settlement and that there's nothing else that will
Yeah,
happen?
if you read it, it tells you what years it's for, and those are the only grievances that were filed, so.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, this ends it, this is done?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye. Motion carried. Item F, may I get a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign all documents relevant to the purchase of the town of Lysander streetlights with the buyout, streetlights buyout with National Grid in the amount not to exceed $954,028. Resolution pending final revised buyout letter from National Grid.
I'll move it.
Mr. Moore moves it.
I'll second it.
Mr. Gerasi. Okay, discussion? Okay, just so people know that Mr. Yeager and I, Mr. Yeager did the bulk of the work. He brought this to my attention, and he thought that we may be paying more than we should. And over the course of 3 to 4 months, he's had probably a dozen conversations with National Grid. He and I have had probably a half a dozen discussions with National Grid executives, and we were able to come up with a number that was $40,000 less than the original number. So our efforts saved the town, and Mr. Yeager did 90% of the work here, and we were able to save the town $41,000. So I think it was well worth the time and effort, and I want to thank Mr. Yeager for his work on that, because I know he put a lot of time and effort into it, and it worked out. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye. Motion carried. Okay, may I get a motion to authorize the National Grid connection of the new streetlights at the following locations, which are included in the LED light conversion project that was previously awarded? So there's a number of, do I need to read this? Okay, there's a number of streets on here in Radisson, the Radisson Lighting District, the Collington Point Lighting District, and the Timber Banks Lighting District. And they will all be online for anyone that's interested in what specific streets they are.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Kudarasa, second by Mr. Diamond. Any discussion?
Yeah, just for clarification, so what is this, Al? These are not all of the lights that are gonna be in this?
No, so these are relatively new sections of these developments,
Okay,
that because we knew we had the streetlight buyout coming, in the relatively near future, we never had National Grid install streetlights in, so we included the new streetlight installation in the LED retrofit contract that we signed with Danforth.
okay, so these are all new?
Yes.
These are all brand new lights. These are all locations where there is not an existing light.
Right, and they're gonna be included in the resolution we just passed, the 900?
No, that's separate. So there's two parts of that contract. There's the National Grid buyout that we just passed,
Right.
and then the contract that was awarded to Danforth for the LED retrofit and the installation of these new lights.
Okay.
Good. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm an aye as well. Motion carried. May I get a motion to accept dedication of the proposed drainage easement location between lots 8 and 12 in the Tullamore subdivision and authorize the expenditure of up to $1,200 from the Collington Point Drainage District that's added in there for materials to construct the drainage improvements with the labor for the installation to be provided by the homeowner's contractor.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye as well. Motion carried. May I get a motion to authorize the expenditure of $19.99 a month for a Zoom?
We changed
We changed
Supervisor
it?
Wicks,
Yeah.
after speaking, or after further research, it appears we can go with a pro subscription rather than a business subscription, which is $14.99 a month.
Okay, so I'll correct that. So may I get a motion for the expenditure of $14.99 monthly for a Zoom meeting business subscription will be used to host virtual town board, planning board, and zoning board meetings and conduct other town business remotely.
I'll move it. I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Moore, seconded by Mr. Kudaraskis. Discussion.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for saving us $5 a month on your research, so appreciate it.
We are saving money everywhere.
Yeah.
It all adds up.
It sure does.
And I just have a quick question. Is this on a monthly basis, or are we committing to a year? What-
But it is on a month, you have an option. You can commit to a year subscription, a little bit cheaper, or you can do a month-to-month basis. We'll, when I talked about earlier, it's probably in our best interest to just do the year subscription, and that I just don't see this going away it saves us about $20 if you do the full year subscription. So there's a little bit of savings if you do a full year subscription. I just don't see the need for this going away in the.
But we're doing just a monthly.
We're doing it monthly at this point in time. I mean, we do have an option if we want to. This allows us to spend up to $14.99 a month. If we go on a year subscription, it would be about $20 less.
Well, I'm fine with this.
And this is something that I know I need. The other towns have it, and I do the virtual meetings. I'm gonna need it, I'm sure other people are gonna start to need it too. Because people are they're starting to get used to it, so I think they like it. And Mr. Kudaraskis uses it all the time, so he's gonna be our expert to show us how to use it. So, all right, any further discussion on that? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye as well, motion carried. May I get a motion to authorize the Parks and Recreation Supervisor to hire David Sitar as a part-time laborer for the parks for a maximum of 16 hours a week at the negotiated rate of $15.62 per hour.
I'll move that.
Mr. Gerasi moves it, Mr. Moore seconds it. Okay, what this is not a new hire. This is a seasonal hire that we usually try to fill. And the negotiated rate is negotiated in the labor contract with the Teamsters, so that's set. Any further discussion on that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye. Motion carried. All right. Item K, we're going to table, correct? That's the part-time clerk for the highway?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to table item K till we can talk to the highway superintendent and get some additional information. Any new business from anyone from the board? Nothing? No? Okay. Anybody see any need to have an executive session tonight? Okay, neither do I. May I get a motion to adjourn at 6:29?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Diamond, seconded by Mr. Kudaraskis. Okay, thank you. We need, oh, hold on, we need a vote, I'm sorry. Got ahead of myself. We need a vote.
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye. Now we can adjourn. Thank you.